Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. Can I cut my grass on Sunday afternoon? I wish that were as simple a question as it seems. You see, sometimes my weeks are busy and I don't get home on a weeknight in time to cut the grass before darkness falls. And if I have a week like that, it often seems that we have plans on Saturday as well. Or maybe it rains, or for whatever reason I can't get to the grass in the yard, and it looks bad, especially next to my neighbors' yards, which are nicely manicured. So I come to Sunday afternoon, and it's a beautiful day, and the lawnmower is there, and the yard is begging for attention. Can I cut my grass then? Oh, that's about when things begin to get complicated. Yes, I believe I can cut my grass. Yes, the Bible tells us we aren't supposed to do work like that on our Sabbath, but I was spending other opportunities to cut the grass doing church work, and I think God would understand some comp time to get this done. Plus, you understand that Sunday is a work day for me anyway. Except everyone knows how we're supposed to keep the Sabbath day holy and not work on that day. And my neighbors all know who I am and that I'm a pastor. And they don't know how busy I've been or think that day as a work day for me. So if I go out and cut my grass on a Sunday, that's what they see. There's the pastor not observing the Sabbath. And if he doesn't take the Bible seriously, why should I? Now, this is a minor little illustration to highlight the point Jesus was making in the story of one of his miracles. And by the way, this is also a point that Paul makes over and over in his letters. This week we are looking at some miracles of Jesus that don't appear in the lectionary, and so it's very rare for preachers to preach on them. Our story today comes from Matthew 17, and it's an odd little story indeed. Here it is. When they reached Capernaum, the collectors of the temple tax came to Peter and said, "Does your teacher not pay the temple tax?" He said, "Yes, he does." And when he came home, Jesus spoke of it first, asking, "What do you think, Simon? From whom do kings of the earth take toll or tribute? From their children or from others?" When Peter said, "From others," Jesus said to him, "Then the children are free. However, so that we do not give offense to them, go to the sea and cast a hook. Take the first fish that comes up, and when you open its mouth, you will find a coin. Take that and give it to them for you and for me." Now first, this story seems so un-Jesus-like. We aren't used to seeing Jesus do something that seems so self-serving. And what's all this about a temple tax? Well, the people were confused about that temple tax even in Jesus' day. As they were rebuilding Jerusalem and the temple after the exile in Babylon, Nehemiah suggested a yearly temple tax to support the temple. It's not very clear, but it seems like the wealthy leaders of the people were asked to obligate themselves to pay 1/3 shekel every year. Somehow, eventually, the Pharisees thought that every male Jew throughout the world was liable for half a shekel. Then some thought that it was every year, and others thought it was to be paid only once. The Sadducees thought it was supposed to be voluntary, and then things got very confusing in the early church when you've got Christians who used to be Jews and Christians who were never Jews in the mix as well. Kind of reminds you of the complicated U.S. tax code, doesn't it? So with that as background, someone outside their group comes and asks Peter about whether or not Jesus pays the tax. Jesus makes a statement about the children of God being free, and then tells Peter to go fishing, and tells him that the first fish he catches will have a coin in its mouth that will pay the tax for Jesus and Peter. And that's it. It's an odd little miracle that seems a bit like a fairy tale, but as usual, there's something more going on here. And it's not really about the miracle of the fish and the coin. Suddenly we are back to me cutting the grass on Sunday. You see, Jesus is talking about the freedom of a Christian. Jesus is implying that he and his followers are free from the obligation of the tax, but in order not to cause offense to outsiders, he will pay it. In that same way, even though I am free to do so, I choose not to cut grass on Sunday because of the offense it might cause my neighbors. We are free, but we are also called to consider those who are aware of our actions and to safeguard them in their faith too. The Christian life is one of balancing our freedom and our concern for our neighbors in this way. St. Paul on several occasions makes a similar point. We are called to be examples of faithfulness to God. We are called to be examples of love for all. Maybe we just need to go fishing. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.